time for Me and My Golf.
Total game series.
Hey everyone, we're talking bunkers today. We are going to show you how to play the greenside bunker shots, also the fundamentals you need for the fairway bunker. Andy, it's a pretty tricky shot, but I'm going to go with the greenside bunker shot first of all.
Okay.
So what fundamentals are we looking for?
We're going to focus on two different things that we need to play this shot, Piers. And if you think about it, it's a specialist shot. You're not looking to play this like we would normally off the fairway. So because it's a specialist shot, we're going to look at two of these main things. Now, first of all, what the club head does, because when we're in the bunker on a greenside shot, Piers, we're looking to hit the sand. And how the club interacts with the sand is crucial, and we need loft and bounce to really expose that to be able to slide underneath the golf ball. So how the club head moves is probably the most important thing. So let's talk about that. So let's look at what we would need in a full shot first. As we swing through the golf ball, we often see the toe of the golf club turning over the heel. This creates that closure, presents a good square face and leading edge to the golf ball. But in this instance, what we need is we need to expose the bounce, so we need loft. So the club face is very much sort of pointing upwards at the start. It stays lofted throughout the golf swing. And as we swing through now, the loft is still on the golf club. And look on the way through now, this club isn't sort of turning over, Piers. The loft's still pointing upward, almost at my face here. And this really enables us to use the bounce, slide underneath the golf ball, and that's what you need to play this greenside bunker shot.
Okay.
When it comes to the legs, the lower body is crucial to help us get that entry into the sand as well. In a full shot, normally we see this sort of big power drive and this extension of the leg and this drive of the right foot. Great for compressing the golf ball, Piers, and getting that ball turf, but we're not looking to do that in the bunker. So the lower body is a lot wider. We have a lot more flex in the legs, and it's a lot quieter as well. We get a little bit of pressure in the lead leg. Now, as we swing down now, it's very much hands and arms, and you'll see that right foot is so much quieter, and I maintain the flex in this lead leg. That really helps me keep these levels and helps me get underneath the golf ball. So the lower body and the club head act totally different to a normal shot.
Let's see a shot then. Let's see you actually splash one out here.
So you see the lower body straight away. I'm in there with the legs a lot softer. You're going to see a quieter motion and a different release through the ball.
Nice.
You can see that right foot stays a little bit more planted as well. Left leg stays bent as well.
Plenty of height on that shot as well, because you've kept the loft on it, which is obviously very important. But I really like the fact in that although you're keeping a quiet low body, there's a brisk tempo to the upper body, so there is some speed. We know that when we're in the sand, you need to make sure that obviously you have that speed because we're not hitting the ball first, so it's crucial, obviously.
Exactly, speed in that club head, not necessarily the lower body on that.
Absolutely. All right, okay, so
get rid of that.
We were going to do like a...
Let's throw it in there, Piers.
A little...
I can catch it there.
exchange then, mid-air exchange. Okay, so fairway bunker. I think so many people really struggle with this shot, and it is hard, of course, but how can you help?
Well, we need to be a little bit more precise with the striking here because we're not looking to hit the sand, we are looking to get the golf ball. Now, I think a lot of people struggle with this because they actually create too much of a downward hit and get too much sand. So if we can pick it off the top almost and create a shallower angle of attack, that's really going to minimize any sort of downward hit into the golf ball and reduce the chances of sort of leaving it 20 yards down there and give us a good chance of actually getting it down there.
Okay, so what sort of things are we looking for?
Well, to help shallow it out, first thing is we're going to move the ball a little bit further up in the stance. So this helps the bottom of the bottom of the swing sort of happen a little bit earlier.
Just quickly on that, I think a lot of people would be scared of doing that because of the fact, I'll put the ball further forward. That means there's more sand to hit before the ball.
Exactly, but it really helps us combine with what we want to do in the golf swing. So ball forward in the stance, I'm going to grip it a little bit tighter here in the setup, maybe even look at the top of the golf ball. Now in the golf swing here, most people in the bunker go with their normal distance for the club. But the problem is when we start to use the lower body and activate those legs, we often see this little squat in the downswing. And if we do that and get it slightly wrong, we bring this sand into play. So a great thing you can do in a fairway bunker is actually go up more club. That is going to help reduce the involvement of the legs, keep it a little bit quieter, and actually maintain the level, slightly softer golf swing. Lower body isn't as active.
So hit a longer club, which obviously allows you then to okay,
yeah,
that makes total sense.
A great thought on the swing now to have is literally as you swing through, we want to keep the levels and almost feel as if the lead side, the lead leg, is extending up and we're having this nice tall finish. Again, just trying to reduce any movement down on the shot Piers as well.
Okay, Andy, so before you hit this is something that you can actually do on the golf course because it's always good to have a little bit of feedback as to make sure that you're doing the things that you said there. So we don't want to be losing those levels too much. You can talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So I've got a couple of your hairbands out your bag.
Yeah,
you okay with that? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So I've attached my phone to this alignment 6 here, like so. I'm going to press record. Okay, so that's nice and steady now. Now, the good thing with this is it's better than your friend holding it because you're going to be able to see if there is a level change.
Exactly. So that's what you're going to do. Put this in the ground here, see, and record your golf swing and just see if there is any of that sort of downward movement. Keep that height, keep that nice high finish on the way through.
Okay, let's see what you've got then. You're under pressure here because we've got the camera on you, don't forget.
I'm not under pressure, Piers. I don't feel that. You can see you picked it off the top there. Hardly any sand at all there, Piers.
Okay, right, let's have a look at the replay on that. Yeah, you can see exactly when you're hitting this shot here, maintaining the height in your backswing, which is really good. But as you're swinging down there, the head is staying on the line, and we can see that left side, as you said, going up. And look at the contact you had with the sand there. You've virtually just clipped it off the top.
Very
and I
clean,
think
that's what I wanted.
that is the hard part. So there you have it. We're talking greenside bunkers. You know what to do now, and also that fairway bunker shot, which is pretty tricky, but make sure you get your camera, get in the bunker, and give some practice. So Andy, it's funny, isn't it, when people go into a bunker, straight away the sand wedge is the club that comes out. The good thing is we've got a couple of shots here which probably suggest that you shouldn't be using the sand wedge.
Exactly, yeah. Most golfers just reach for that club straight away without necessarily looking at what the situation they have in front of them. And it's not always sand wedge, Piers, as we said there, really. We can use different clubs to give ourselves the best chance possible to execute the shot in the right way, really.
Okay, so you've got some pretty tough shots here. We've got a couple here at the Ladies Golf Club of Toronto. We've got a short side shot.
Yeah.
And we've got a further shot with the blue flag. So should we go with the short side shot first?
We can start with the easy one, is that right? Yeah?
I don't know which one's easy.
Yeah, let's start with this short one. Obviously, I've got no green to work with here. So the key to this shot really is having loft. I need the ball to come out, land softly, and not really roll very far. So loft is really important, first of all, in the club selection. So rather than go with the sand wedge, I'm actually going with a lob wedge. I'm going 60 degrees here to give myself the most loft possible. The next thing then, Piers, really is creating the loft in the golf swing. So it's great having it at the address position, but we really want to be able to maintain that loft through the hitting area so that ball can really just lift out softly, land, and then maybe even roll in, Piers. So we do a drill that we call face-to-face. And if we just take our setup, first of all, I'm going to make sure that I add a little bit more loft on the 60 degree by rotating the face. But from here now, once I've taken my setup, I'm going to apply that same feeling. The club face is my palm. As I swing back now, I'm going to make sure that the club face stays pointing at my face all the way through the golf swing, all the way to impact, all the way in the through swing here. And you can see that face throughout, Piers, now is not taking any loft on. We don't really want to have any closing down of this.
Nope.
That's going to get it running out. And if we can get that same feeling, keeping the loft, hopefully we can use the bounce, glide underneath the golf ball and have it land softly on the green.
All right, let's see you play then. You've talked a good game.
Okay, so wide open face, really get the feeling face to face here, even on the way through. Let's see if I can get it coming out delicately here, Piers. The greens are pretty slick here as well.
That's pretty decent, that one. So that's pretty decent.
Not bad. Ran on a little bit. Probably got a little too much sand there, but
okay.
If we can, you know, get that feeling, it's certainly going to help get that ball up a little quicker.
That's pretty decent. That's a good opener. So let's think about this blue flag now. I'm going to give you the other club because I know you're going to change club.
So the blue flag. So again, what a lot of people would normally do is go to the sand wedge. Now this is the difficult part on these shots, Piers. You have to be so precise if you pull the sand wedge out, and you need a lot of speed to get it there. The problem is there if you get it slightly wrong with a strike, you could be through the back of the green. So we want to give ourselves as much room for error as we can. So I'm actually going here 52 degree. Now 52 degree now means that I can get the ball landing on the green a little earlier and actually releasing and rolling out to the flag. And it gives me a little bit more margin for error, Piers, because I'm actually going to take a little bit more sand on this. Okay. So the focus here isn't going to be creating a lot of loft. It's going to be having a pretty neutral club face with a pretty neutral setup. Now I'm going to focus here, as opposed to keeping the loft on the face, I'm actually going to hit down into the sand pretty hard here, Piers, because the sand's going to slow it down a little bit. The ball will come out low and hopefully trickle towards that hole. Okay,
let's see you do this then. Let's see what you got.
Okay, so pretty neutral here. Again, probably a couple of inches behind the golf ball. Bit more power on this one, Piers, though.
Yeah, straight away we have a low trajectory. You can see it running out there. That's a really nice shot, actually.
I'd be happy with that one, Piers.
And I think the good thing is there that the majority of golfers would probably leave that 30 or 40 feet short, get it on the front edge. It is a really hard golf shot.
Key thing is low loft, get the ball rolling out towards the hole.
Get a different trajectory for sure. So what about if it was 30 or 40 yards?
Oh, a really easy one. One of the hardest shots in golf, definitely. Well, if you've got a little bit more green to cover, Piers, take the same principle. Look, it's a little bit harder with more loft, so come down in loft. So you can even use a 9-iron or even an 8-iron and play it very similar. Again, get that ball on the ground as fast as you can and get it rolling towards the hole. It's so much easier and you've got a much bigger margin for error, Piers, on that.
I love that, I love that. And I think that the important thing is here now, looking at this, you know that it's not always the sand wedge you can play the gap wedge, you can play the lob wedge, and control that trajectory to hopefully get it close. I reckon you should do that other one again.
I think so. I can get better than that, Piers, definitely.
Andy, what on earth is that you have on the club face? A rather interesting contraption.
It is, but it's going to help you guys at home understand how we can create more loft in these all-important bunker shots.
All right, so today we're improving your golf IQ by showing you how to add loft, but more importantly, how to maintain it. So, Andy, why is it important to have this loft on the club face when you're hitting the bunker shots?
Well, obviously, we're looking to hit the sand, and when we want to hit the sand, we need to expose the bounce of the club so it actually sort of glides underneath the golf ball and gives that the control that we need when the golf ball lands on the green, Piers. So adding loft is really important, but understanding how we do it is more important, really.
There's lots of different ways, isn't there, that we can do this and obviously maintain it. So let's go with the first one.
OK, well, look, the first one, all we're going to do before we even take our hands on the golf club is rotate the club face. So we're going to twist the club face before we place our hands on. This is really going to add a lot of loft. The second thing that we're going to do is actually adjust the grip slightly. If we want to create a little bit more loft, we can actually weaken the right hand so the right hand goes more over to the left side of the golf club. This will help us add that loft, Piers, during the backswing. From here, then, two things we can do. We can actually lower the handle so the grip end of the club goes a little down. As you can see, as I do that, the loft points more up towards my face here. And then during the golf swing, really, it's about keeping that loft. That's the important thing. How do we maintain that loft? And the secret really lies within the wrist angle. So if we can maintain this little cup that I have in my lead wrist here as I swing back, I will set the wrists, but I still have that cup. As I swing down, I'm feeling like I'm really keeping that cup throughout the whole of the swing, back and through. And as you can see, that loft stays on the golf club, Piers, throughout the whole shot. That exposes the bounce. That will get that club sliding underneath the golf ball, and that will allow me to play the perfect bunker shot.
And that's a really interesting visual there, isn't it, having that magnet on there? So I suppose if you haven't got a magnet, just watch what the club face is doing and be aware of how you can alter that by, as you say, opening the face, turning the trail hand over the club to the left, you know, even lowering the handle. It's all really important.
Exactly. So, should we play a shot?
Absolutely, let's play a shot.
Get rid of the magnet there for us for the moment. So the same feeling now then, Piers. I've got the face open, I've got the right hand a little bit weaker. I'm going to feel that the handle is lower, this cup in the wrist is there. I'm keeping that through the whole of the shot. Hopefully I can sort of get this one coming out high and landing soft.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
You see there, to
Very
a tight
nice.
flag there, that's exactly what I wanted to do there. Really felt that club zip underneath the golf ball.
And it's interesting, I'm glad you said zip there, because although it's such a short shot, there was a lot of speed there, wasn't there? So
Exactly.
you need that speed when you're creating that much loft throughout the swing.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm just going to get the magnet back on now, Piers.
Yeah,
So the next thing really is understanding the loft even more, isn't it?
of course.
So I think in previous years, we've been told that we need to aim left, we need to open the face and aim left to play the bunker shot and almost cut across the golf ball. But if we take a look at what happens as soon as I actually open the club face doesn't necessarily point right, Piers. It actually just points more up in the air. So the loft is more up, which means you don't have to actually aim left. A lot of the best players in the world now, when they play their bunker shots, they'll be actually aiming quite square.
I like that, I like that. So should we watch hit one here?
Yeah, let's go with that again there. So I'm going to aim sort of at the middle of the green here, Piers, in between these two flags. And I'm going to, again, just aim myself pretty square here. Same sort of thing. I'm getting the handle low, plenty of loft. But now I'm feeling that I'm not cutting across the golf ball. I'm feeling more of a neutral path to the shot.
Okay, let's see you do that. Yeah, you can see lots of height on that one. Good bit of grab at the end of it as well. That was a really nice way. And it's almost as if the golf ball will maybe run out a little bit straighter when you do this as well. So the line, when it runs out, the roll out maybe a little bit straighter as opposed to cutting across it, you may get this little cut to the right.
Exactly, and I think that a lot of the players will want to do this because when they get it on the green, they almost want it rolling towards the hole. They want to hole these shots as well. They're looking to get them in the hole. Piers.
Of course. The one thing I must say as well, obviously we've spoken about what we're looking to achieve, but for golfers at home, what's the sort of things that they're doing wrong in their downswing? Maybe if they've getting the face open, but what are they doing in their downswing?
Okay, so let's take a look. I'll get the magnet again. This is so useful. This is to just help paint the right picture and help you guys understand. So as we said, we want the loft in the swing, but we see a lot of people on the way down actually reduce that loft. The club face turns towards the ground like this. The leading edge is presented, which causes a lot of digging in. And even on the way through, we have a lot of closure. And you can see the loft now is off the golf club. The magnet's pointing behind me. We want to keep that magnet, as you can see, pointing more up towards the sky. That's going to help use the bounce and get the shot that we want.
So they're all the things that we'd like to see in the driver when they're getting that release down.
Speed and distance, but not necessarily great for bunker shots.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to understand that when that happens, the ball will usually go a little bit to the left and it will go a little bit too far for sure. All right, so look, that's really important there that you understand, number one, how to actually create that loft, but then number two, how you maintain that throughout the shot. Andy, it's not a trick shot show. What are you doing now?
I'm just experimenting, Piers, seeing if I can keep the loft on the club face throughout the impact area. That's the important part, you know.
All right, so actually that's actually a really good drill that we use. But explain that, please.
Okay, well, we know that we want to keep loft in bunkers, Piers. If we can keep the loft throughout the bunkers, then it's going to help us use the bounce and play the shot successfully. So why not think about how it reacts down near the most important part of impact? So get some sand on the golf club, place the golf ball on there. Key thing for this, Piers, is going pretty slow. If you go too fast, it'll just drop off. But the most important thing is if you keep the loft on the club face throughout this point here, the sand and the golf ball are going to stay on there. And this is the feeling that you want then when you want to take it to the shot. Keeping that loft, exposing the bounce, getting that sort of skim underneath the golf ball.
It's fantastic training. As you say, it allows you to understand what it's like to maintain that loft throughout. It's actually a bit of a workout as well, isn't it?
It is. It's pretty heavy.
And we always like,
though, Piers.
if it's a little bit heavier for you to handle, then it's actually a good way of learning. So where would amateur golfers perhaps go wrong with this?
Well, they can go wrong on the backswing or the through swing. So as we swing back, we can see that the loft will do this and the sand and the golf ball are off. And the same on the way through. If we get too much closure of the face, the sand is coming off and the ball's going to drop off. So it's a good real feeling, Piers, for what the club's doing, and also in the hands. These hands are so important through the bottom of the golf swing.
So if you did like 10 seconds, if you're in a bunker and you're doing some practice and you did 10 seconds of that, then you'd hit a shot maybe?
Exactly, yeah, that gives you that feeling through here, and that will definitely sort of transpire into the shot then, Piers.
Okay, let's see you play one then.
Okay.
So we're expecting a pretty high trajectory out of the bunker and a pretty soft landing. That was nice.
Again, so
Nice
you can
and
see that
high.
nice and smooth underneath, didn't get any digging in there, which means I've got the loft exposed, which is great.
Okay, so have you got any more trick shots for us?
Trick shots, well, I've got some more drills, Piers, so let's go with a backswing drill. And this is, Graham McDowell said this is the best drill that he had in his bunkers. So all you're going to do again is going to get some sand on the golf club. Now, we know how important it is to keep the loft on, Piers, but what Graham McDowell said that helped him, as we swing back, we're going to really toss the sand over our back like
Love
this.
that.
So it really keeps the loft on, Piers, and then we can get that sand going over like this. So we can go pretty slow in the first move away, but as we do this, we can then get that sand thrown towards the target, and that really helps keep the loft on, get the wrists working, which we know is so important to create the speed as well.
I love that. At no point was I wishing that you'd thrown that on the top of your head, by the way.
No, I'm sure you weren't, Piers. I'm sure you weren't.
Okay, let's hit another one with that then. So that same sort of feeling again,
Yeah.
accentuating that loft in that backswing.
You'll see the wrists working on the way back here. Lovely
Again.
shot on that one.
Nice and high, good stop on it. All right, so I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me something about the through swing on this as well.
Through swing, do you know what? We're going to use the sand. Why not use the sand that we've got in the bunker? So, again, let's put a bit more on there. The through swing, again, is so important to be able to keep the loft on. And again, what we often see is this closure of the face, which dumps that sand off too early. So what we're going to focus on here now is throwing the sand the opposite way, keeping the loft on the way through and throwing it over this shoulder. And look what happens here. There's not much body movement on this, Piers. The wrists and the hands are sort of releasing upward, keeping the loft on there. And we know, again, it's so important throughout the whole motion, maintaining that loft.
Okay, one more. Let's see what you got. I love this. I love this. Again, it's a really simple way that you can maintain that loft throughout the bunker shot.
So just focus on the finish here now.
Again, high, bit of stop on it. Very nice.
Decent shots. They got better as we went on.
They did, didn't they? They did. So I think look, that's really important to understand how you can obviously feel and control that face now. But what about the strike point? Because that's really important as well. I mean, you've actually struck those really well. But what about if you're struggling with your strike point? Do we have a feedback tool?
Definitely. Feedback. So simple. Let's just get yourself a line in the bunker, and let's place the golf ball, let's say, anywhere 2 to 3 inches in front of that line. And from here now, when we actually hit the shot, we've got feedback to where the entry point is. And I think a lot of people don't understand how much room we've got. We can hit the golf ball or hit the sand 2, 3, sometimes 4 inches, but we want to make sure it's not too much behind or too close to the golf ball, because then the inconsistencies in the direction comes in.
Okay, so would you have a practice swing first of all, maybe, and just test it out?
Definitely. So I'll put the ball there, practice swing just to actually take out the line. So hit that line, just see exactly where you've hit it. That one was just slightly ahead of the line, but it's great feedback then. And once you've got feedback, once you've got awareness, you can then start to make the changes and get better results.
Better results. Okay, let's see you play one then. Let's see what you've got. Let's play one more good shot. Let's see what you've got left. I'm looking at that line, though. Let's just see this one, because it's going to stop maybe a little bit quicker. Now, stop quicker than the other golf balls, and the reason why is because you just missed the back edge of that line,
Back edge
or the front edge, should I say. So it's going to stop a little bit quicker. If you hit on the line or even a little bit before the line, as long as you've got the speed, the golf ball will probably hit the ground and then run out a little bit.
You've got a lot more room for error than you think in these bunkers.
All right, so I really like that. I love this sort of training aid here, and also these little trick shots that you were doing here about keeping that loft on the club face.